Minecraft. Whoa, dude, that's right. There's still more bonus episodes of Final Fantasy II. Swirly whirlwind, underground maelstrom. Uh, yeah, it's just cool looking, and it's nice to be out here and not have to worry about gas killing me and knocking me off.
Right.
Yeah, I think I die of fall damage more than anything else in your maps, and that was definitely true in this area because I chose to, like, I knew I could attack it from the bottom.
Hmm.
One thing I do when I'm LPing these maps is I try to not always do things like the easiest way, just because like
Sure.
tunneling through areas and things like tends to be boring. And
Right.
but yeah, trying to attack this from the top was super rough, and I finally ended up having to switch to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, you were I think the closest I've ever seen you to raging a little bit. But yeah, it is really tough. I mean, you've got the blaze spawners, you've got the gas that are just like you say, they're more of a nuisance mob or an annoyance. But
Hmm. But their
yeah,
fireballs will knock you off.
sure, right. And you've got this very thin space to work on. And being that everything is bedrock around here, the
Yeah, I didn't
mobs,
think about that. The
the
mobs
mobs
don't
cap
spawn
out.
anywhere else, and so I didn't even that didn't even occur to me.
Hmm.
That aspect. And then yeah, like I think I accidentally looked at Enderman once in here at some point, which is also like rage worthy because all of a sudden it's like, darn it, I've been doing so well, and then he just comes over and knocks you off.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but then yeah, once I decided I was just okay, I need to get through this area, attack it from the bottom, and do kind of like the straightforward thing, build a
Yeah.
staircase up, do it slow and steady, take out a couple blaze spawners. Yeah, I feel like if you're patient enough, I feel like Zisto kind of embodies this, and to some extent Simon as well, as he's kind
Hmm.
of like kicking this map's ass so far.
Yeah, he
Um,
sure is.
yeah, if you have enough patience, like yeah, you can get through pretty much anything.
Hmm. That's my thing. I run out of patience too quick, and I like to charge right in and
Yep,
see what happens.
I've seen yeah
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
you and Aaron on Cutthroat Caverns or whatever that you guys are LPing right now. Yeah, you
Hmm.
definitely both of you guys like to charge in.
Yeah. We got that race for wool mentality where it's just
Hmm.
like go go go, get it, get it, get it. Doesn't always work.
All right, and then something. I guess we can like head over to the JBM now. I guess we have to go under here
Oh,
if we want to
sure.
just fly through the rail system. But yeah, another thing that I liked was in area number one. You might not notice that triangle in the gravel that's kind of like behind the area and might not find your way down into the JBM.
Hmm.
And then in area two, okay, there's a water column coming out of the spaceship that leads to a little dungeon that leads you to the rail system, and so you're probably gonna find that. And then in
Hmm.
area three, like the bird cage is like practically right next to the rail system, so it's like if people happen not to find it the first time or the second time, like by the third time they're gonna find it.
Right, right. And of course, you've got to find it in order to progress past Area 3, really. So,
Yep. And so yeah, my LP, so yeah, I can already see it on my screen, basically the nether portal down at the bottom. But in
hmm.
my LP, it was an honest reaction to, I think I came to the JBM like with two discs before I finally, happened to look down and like look through the glass and was like, oh, there's
Oh,
something
yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
And so it was
Yeah.
also, yeah, like hidden in plain sight, I guess is a good description of the nether portal.
Hmm.
And so I kind of enjoyed that as well. So yeah, here's my JBM. And yeah, I guess you haven't seen it, but my viewers will have seen at the end basically a bunch of gas come out of nowhere. And so they didn't destroy too much. They blew up some of the things right around here. There's some glowstone lamps and some of the record stuff that's a little bit
Hmm.
destroyed. But basically, when the gas came out, I just made a run for it, jumped down to the area of the nether portal, and just hold up.
Yeah. Basically, that was just kind of my way of ending the story,
Mm
because I originally I wanted it to be to where when you put the last record in, villagers start spawning,
hmm. Mm hmm.
so that it would be like, okay, I rescued the ancient people from the end, and everything's all good now. But I could not. I mean, if I spent enough time on it, I'm sure I could figure it out somehow. But I
You could
could
just
not get
use
it to
dispensers and spawn eggs, right?
dispensers and spawn eggs,
Is that
right?
what you
But
did
to
with the
get them,
gas?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's like a back here. There's a little clock, and the clock's still running actually. Clock's hooked up to a dispenser
I see.
down
Okay.
here somewhere. There it goes.
I
And yeah,
see,
so
but
whenever you place the last record, it powers that clock, and
right, and the
so
gas
it's
will
just
get out, but I guess the villagers you can't necessarily.
villagers. Yeah, I would have had to have had like a secret door or something that I could not figure out a good place to hide it,
I see.
where
With
it wouldn't be obvious to
there's
you.
the
And
dispensers that pop out the golden apples. Um,
eggs
Eggs
won't
don't do
shoot
that.
throw.
Okay,
No,
yeah, all right.
yeah. So anyway, in the end, I guess darkness kind of wins. He unleashes all the gas on you, and
Hmm.
that was the
And
end of the story.
yeah, I kind of like that also as well because the first CTM map I did was Goods 404 challenge, and at the end
Uh-huh.
of that map, like it was just I finished the map like the day that Minecraft 1.0 came out, and so like I didn't do anything special at
Okay.
the end, and people really wanted me to set fire to all the wool or blow up the monument or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was kind of nice because it was like, oh, I didn't have a choice. So like the monument's all getting like destroyed and different things, and so people tend to enjoy that. So
Sure.
that's good. Let's see. I'm looking back at my notes to see if there's any other things in the real world. Oh, back when we were up top,
Mm-hmm.
there were three different directions to get to the three different areas. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
do it on camera, but I actually took a boat out in the fourth direction to see if there were any Easter eggs up there. I didn't see anything, but did you hide anything over in the fourth direction?
The only thing that you would be able to find, and it would be just a real fluke if you found it naturally, but in there's a custom biome,
Mm-hmm.
mushroom biome in the corner. If you sail out that direction, that it's actually in the shape of a three and a two. So I put like my signature on the map in form of a mushroom biome there. But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
there's no dirt or anything that would
Mm-hmm.
that would let you know. You just have to be on your F3 to see the biomes change. And of course, you couldn't tell what it was in game. You'd have to look at the map in a map editor that lets you see the biome. So,
I see.
but yeah, my little watermark, I guess.
Neat.
Oh, there's also in the overworld, past the first castle, the Area One castle.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge Final Fantasy logo on the map border wall,
Oh,
which
neat.
only a couple people have found. So that's
I
kind of interesting.
yeah,
Cause
I
I
might
guess
go
they'll
ahead
find it
and
now.
use some magic video editing to edit that in right now.
Yeah,
If I remember to go back later and actually edit that
there you go.
in.
There you go.
So some gas blew up this, and so we can use that as a handy way to go wee plop. Um, all right, the Nether. I guess let's head on in and let's hope that I
Okay.
remember to set up my server properties so that multiplayer Nether works. Hooray, it does.
Yep.
And I guess we can start at the bottom and work our way up
Sure.
because I believe the bottom is Zombaville. Which, yeah, the moment I read the sign, like I heard you saying it in your voice, Zomba,
Those darn zombies.
get on that Zomba meat.
Yeah. I figured I might have some copyright problems too if I would have named it Zombieville.
I see.
Because there's that iPhone app called Zombieville, which is kind of what I base this on a little bit.
Oh, I see. I'm not aware of it and haven't played it.
Yeah,
So is it a?
it's just like a little zombie brawler type of game where you're running down the street and you hop into houses and grab loot and brawl zombies at the same
Oh, I
time.
see.
So yeah,
Well, that's very much what this was like.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know if I had to pick. This might be my least favorite area,
oh yeah.
um, because I think a few reasons. So obviously the proximity traps, like once you, and it didn't take me long. Like once I heard a spider and like a tick, I was like, okay, I know how to set these
Hmm.
things off now, and they definitely are avoidable by virtue of the fact that I watched Simon get through this area, who's also LPing through this map, and he has managed to still stay alive like the entire time, and so he managed to avoid them all.
Hmm.
I think I only got killed by one of them, maybe.
This
Um,
one here at the intersection, I'm not sure which one killed you, but this
I think it
one
was this
seems to
one.
get people.
Yeah,
Um,
because it
yeah,
really, I don't know if they're all the same size or if this one was bigger, but
I
it.
think I think this one has like some little extenders that go out. So there's like the proximities in the middle of the intersection, and then there's like a line of TNT that goes out in all four directions to make sure that it's a little bit harder to run away from it.
I see. And yeah, for any of those of you who want to like see the mechanism here, if you watch Simon Mill, I'll try to remember to link him. I've linked him before. Who's playing through the map when he's in this area? He actually like cuts under the ground, and you can actually kind of like see the TNT inside the glass and the mechanism.
Hmm.
Um,
Oops. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Okay. Go ahead. Call muted.
All right. And yeah, this area was like the cemetery in Final Fantasy One, the gravitationally challenged graveyard, in that
Hmm.
it was kind of like a bunch of things, and like you go into each individual one and you get the loot. And I think a lot of people really enjoyed that. I'm not much of a loot getter or user or whatever, and so like it got boring to me really quick, and so I only collected like
Sure.
a third of the loot.
Sure.
And so I think that
Yeah,
was the
there's
other
like a
reason.
lot of good stuff in here, but oh, I got stuck in a chunk error. Oh no. There we go. Backed out of it. Yeah, there's like a lot of good loot here, but it's definitely not like a necessary part of the area for
Hmm.
sure. You can pretty much blow past all these houses, which kind of feeds into speed runs if people want to try a speed run
Yes.
of the map, you know. A lot actually someone was talking to me about it and they said if they would do a speed run, they would try and dig right down to the Jukebox Monument first off and come to this area as
Oh,
their
and get
first
all the
area
loot.
to just
Yeah.
yeah, to loot up and gear up and
Right.
then start taking things on from there.
I forgot to mention it at the entrance to Area 3, but there was also the super sword with the bomb when you try to,
Oh yeah.
right, that I felt like such an idiot because that was such an obvious trap and I just missed it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then when you got in here, like, I think there were blazes, and if you had a fire potion, it was relatively straightforward actually at this point, and so that was kind of good to balance out the fact that there were so many things blowing up and trying to kill you along the way.
Sure. Yeah. How did this trap go off? I don't remember the TNT that was underneath the door.
I don't know that it went off for me. Like, obviously, it has gone off now because there's a hole in the
Hmm.
world here, but I wonder if it went off after I already got out of the area. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch my video.
It's
Um,
possible. The way I
yeah.
intended it to work was when you open the door,
Hmm.
it was a gravel update trap. So, but for some reason, I guess I didn't realize it, and of course, I never tested it.
Slacker.
But yeah,
3-2
doors
is a
don't
slacker.
right? Doors don't update gravel when they open. So
Right.
even if they're right above the gravel, so
I see.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
it must have got hit by like a blaze
well, I
fire or
opened the door
something
on the
like that.
way in, but I think I broke it on the way out.
Hmm.
And so maybe on the way out, and it just like I was already running away at that point, and maybe I just had explosions behind me and I didn't even notice or see them or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and I liked some of the touches in terms of like there were dogs in the backyard of some of the houses and like other
Hmm.
silly things like that. And in the mailboxes, yeah, they had like their newspapers and different things, and so it was cute.
Yeah, one of the like one of those dogs was meant to draw you back, and then there was a proximity detector right underneath it. But
Ah,
I think the dog like wandered off somewhere while I was working on the map, and because I bounce back and forth, like MC Edit, nothing moves. But when I'm
mm,
working in it in
in
game,
game, right?
everything's active. So I think he wandered away from the proximity trap at some point.
I see.
But yeah, I thought that would be hilarious for people to be like, "Oh, a dog! Boom!"
uh, and yeah, I didn't bother trying to tame any of the dogs. Although I've never had a dog in the Nether, and so that could be a little bit interesting in terms of,
Right.
I don't know, yeah, like how dogs like interact. I guess, yeah, with the pigmen, that would be interesting.
Hmm.
I don't think I ended up accidentally hitting pigmen at all in this area, but I obviously did it in some other areas a little later on. All right, so that was one of the areas. And yeah, I also appreciated the fact that you had both the speed potions and the mine carts here. So if you did
Sure.
die, since you couldn't set a bed spawn, like you had like a quick way to get back to try to get back to your loot.
Hmm. That was one of the things I was kind of afraid of is, getting a little bit too tedious and grindy. If you're having bad luck and dying a lot, having to respawn in the overworld and come back to the nether. But I don't think anybody had too much trouble with it as far as I've seen. So I think it worked out pretty good.
Yep, and then last resort. Um, so I can't remember. I think in like Sunburn Islands or one of the Vex maps, there's an area like this where you have to like run across a bunch of gravel or otherwise a bridge.
It's Infernal Sky, I believe.
I see. And so I had, yeah, like seen a similar area, and it was the same kind of thing that like I knew I could bridge from the beginning, but I tried to
Mm,
parkour it because I thought it would be interesting and more fun, and
hmm.
I made pretty good progress up until I got to the blazes, I think.
Yeah, you did really good. This area right here. Oops, I'm in a
We
chunk
can,
error again.
oh,
Dang it. There we go. Get
oh,
it out.
the ceiling is thicker than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. This area was a little bit easier than I intended for it to be. I think there should have been either more blazes or more mobs that could update the gravel, to kind of put
Hmm.
pressure on you. Another thing someone suggested was to add furnaces to the walls so that you can just,
Oh, right
place
click on the
blocks all around
wall.
the wall.
That would be super clever. Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't think I've seen anyone, yeah, use the furnace trap before.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I remember like, a year ago, like reading about someone calling it the furnace trap, where basically people drop into a room that's just filled with furnaces on the walls, on the floor, and the ceiling. And as a result, you
Sure.
can't place blocks because
Yeah,
every time you
yeah,
right click, you end up inside the furnace. And
yeah,
yeah, doing that here would be pretty clever.
yeah. Or workbenches, I guess, would do the same thing, but then I believe those can burn. I'm not sure.
They don't actually like burn away, like they get the
Oh, do
fire
they not?
animation, but I think gas could destroy them. I don't know if gas could
Sure.
destroy furnaces. And then, so yeah, before I went down here, went to the back and found the little potion stand. And so I was wondering if you could use the fire potions and just kind of swim in on a speed run. Oh wow, there's
Oh,
water. What's?
oh, from above that water column.
Oh, I'm on the wrong end. I see. And I am kind of like
Yeah.
I'm stuck at this point. Let's see if I can. Okay, I worked my way back out. Yeah. So on the other end, basically, can you speed run it with a fire potion and get into the birdcage out of the back?
Yeah, well, no, there's no way to get in there from the back. So, because the
Oh, void
bottom
level.
layer gravel is at level 0,
Gotcha.
so or level 1, I guess. So, yeah, you can't go underneath it.
Okay. Because yeah,
But speed run wise, yeah, I mean, it would take some skill, but yeah, with a little fire resistance, you just sprint across, parkour it, do the best you can.
oops, I gotta fall out of the world if I'm not careful. And then another thing is I didn't get any of the iron that was in the wall at the front of this area.
Hmm.
But yeah, I see that it's iron and silverfish. It looks like.
Yeah, just a little bit more supplies for you, to get geared up.
And is it
But
all
yeah,
silverfish? I never bothered checking.
I think it's about half and half.
Okay. I
So
just saw
yeah,
that
you can
some
get
gas fireballs exploded, and I was like, that's not cobble.
right. Yeah, so you could grab some blocks to place and a little bit of iron. So yeah, my main thing was that I tried to balance it out for the pros, like that aren't going to have a problem with this map, as well
Mm-hmm.
as the people that aren't used to CTM maps, so that they wouldn't just be like, "Oh my God, this is so impossible," and I keep losing all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make sure that everything that you needed would be abundant, even if you lost it a couple times to some
Ah,
unlucky
right.
incidents. So.
And yeah, so being able to get blocks and things there. Here's my netherwort
Mhm.
farm, which I can't remember if I ever actually showed on camera, but yes, I was farming netherwort, so
Oh
I could make
yeah.
as many potions as I wanted.
Oh yeah.
And oh right, uh, this area,
Oh
wave
yeah.
of
You
mutilation.
you had a hard time finding the staircase here.
I felt like such a dummy because I went back. We talked about clues in the notes, and this one said, something down in the basement.
Right.
And what do? I build a staircase up to the ceiling,
Yeah.
and
Oh man, that must have taken forever.
well, probably only like 20 minutes off camera or something, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I finally, I'd run, I think, all the way to the back, but I didn't go to the back corner. And yeah, the back corner is like, oh, staircase down. That's how you get down.
Yeah. I
But
couldn't remember. Did all the fire charges work for you when you
the
came in
fire
here?
charges did actually work. This is I
Okay.
think, possibly the first time one of your traps that involves some redstone actually killed me. You've had a lot of failed redstone traps on me in Final Fantasy 1 and then in Final Fantasy
Yeah.
2. But
Yeah.
I actually did get caught on fire due to the fire charges, and I burned to death the first time I came into this area.
Nice.
So kudos to you on that.
Score one for me.
And then I actually really liked this room and attacking this room. Like, I enjoyed it a lot.
Hmm.
It was big enough. It was a little bit regular in terms of where the spawners were, but at the same time, like I kept getting lost in terms of which way the staircases were and different things, and there was some loot along the way. And then when you get down to the bottom, like both visuals of the area, as well as there's netherrack that the gas might explode, then you fall into the lava or the fire, and
Hmm.
um,
I think the gravel was updated too when you got here. There was actually
yes, there
a
was a
huge
gravel
wall of
walkway that
gravel.
kind of like there was a big reveal,
Hmm.
and I'd spent
Yeah,
so much time futzing about upstairs that I guess it had already gone off.
already updated on you.
But yeah, I
Yeah, for
saw
a
it,
lot of
and
people, that's a big, huge lag spike. So I never noticed if you got that or not. But yeah, that's what over here these
sorry,
traps that you were trying to
I
figure
lost track
out.
of where you are.
Oh,
Oh,
to
the
your
creeper
right.
traps. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what these were. Was to set off a little redstone trigger down here that it was hooked up to a piston that pulled out the bottom block of gravel, and then the whole gravel wall updated.
I
So,
see. Oh, yeah, and I can see where the gravel fell through now that I'm like flying over the area. Like there's the lava
hmm
that's obviously been updated.
hmm
Yeah, so it's a shame that I missed that. Um, but yeah, another cool thing to just add to the visuals of this area, and I like the fact that there is like the pentagram star here as well as on the
got
wall
pretty
up in the
got pretty
first area.
evil.
Yeah, and it was pretty evil. Like I definitely struggled. Magma cubes, like you pair magma cubes like with any other mob,
Hmm.
and they're really tough. Like they do a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
damage, and like you try like shooting at the blaze, and like a magma cube always does like like hops in the way of your arrow, and like so you never manage to like hit the guy you're trying to hit.
Hmm.
So yeah, I also enjoy just like when you have magma cubes in an area because it makes it fun to fight the mobs.
Yep, they're a good combo mob. Like to mix them up like that.
Um,
Oh, these
yes.
gas just spawning so many.
All right. I guess we can just hop out through the ceiling anywhere and
Oh yeah.
head back up somewhere else. Right. And here's the pentagram, so this must be the entrance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and I went down and visited the cave spiders to
Oh yeah,
understand
that
the.
was cool that you got in there.
Yeah, it took me like 20 deaths or something to get in here, but I really wanted to see what was going on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so I
basically
guess
this was just to well, obviously the spiders were meant to come out under the stairs once
right.
you went down the stairs, but yeah, they were also triggering off a, little minecart mechanism. You can kind of see where the trail goes up here.
Oh, sorry.
And
Let
so
me
I
let
had
me.
like a stack of minecarts that would trigger off, and then they would go around this track that goes around the whole building, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
was triggering the dispensers.
Yep. Cool. And I see. Here's also, I guess this is the whole lava sphere that was kind of around everything and peeking back over at the
Hmm.
gravel drop area that I can't think of the name of. Last Resort.
Last resort, yep.
All right. And finally, depth charge.
Oh yeah, you didn't like that very much, did you?
It was rough. Now that I've been through the whole area,
Hmm.
I bet you I could like speed run it and like do it in one go and just rush through the area.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that's definitely kind of both not my style, as well as if you don't know what's coming up, like it takes a whole lot of bravery to just like try to crush through the area.
Sure, right. You're gonna take a couple deaths for sure. But yeah, the quicker, especially towards the end in the blaze room, like the quicker you get down and into the water, the better off you are.
Hmm.
Unless you wanted to do like you did and uh, you know remove all the blaze spawners.
Yeah, I usually like once things start killing me, like I like to try to exact my revenge,
Hmm.
and just destroy every spawner and light up every room. And so yeah, in the spider room over here, like oh my gosh, there is so much glowstone in here right now.
Oh yeah. Did
Um,
you ever figure out that you could use that Bane of Arthropods
I didn't
bow
in
as a
game.
melee? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, and I mean, I know like technically like that Bane of Arthropods is a melee enchant, and so if I would have smacked him over the head, but it didn't occur to me when I was playing the game, and I like
Yeah.
shot him with the arrow once, and I was like, oh, that didn't seem to do much, and I just didn't think about it again.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
enough other stuff going on that my brain wasn't running at full capacity.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's interesting to me that both me and when I was watching Simon play this area, like when he fell down into the spiders, I think we both had the same kind of reaction where we're just like running around like madmen and then almost accidentally like stumble into a corner and put a block up. And then you're like, oh, spiders are big. You can just like put yourself in a 1 by 1 tube and they can't get at you.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, I had trouble with this area. And then the next room with the blazes and the magma cubes. Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that like whenever I have a bunch of fires, like my fraps in Minecraft just like fall off the map.
Yeah, I wish they'd fix that.
Yep.
It seems like a really simple fix. I mean, it might not cause a whole lot of performance increase, but
Mhm.
I mean, I believe, I don't know the code, but it sounds like it just tries to run every single fire sound at the same time.
Right.
You know, each blaze sound,
Yeah,
each little fire.
I'm completely convinced that they don't have any sound throttling.
Hmm.
BOO in his single player Let's Play has a chicken farm where the chicken are all swimming in a little lake, and he's got like 100 chickens in there. And
Mm,
anytime he enters the area, the moment he gets within earshot, his
hmm.
game lags up, and the more moment he like walks away from earshot, and so it's got to be something with the sounds, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
but
it's like you said, yeah, it just needs to be throttled, you know, like
don't play
I
more than like
think
10 of
eight
any kind of
sounds at a
sounds or something.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, eight or
exactly.
10 at a time.
But yeah, basically, I think otherwise I kind of, would have liked fighting through this area. And then the ice that starts melting as like the blazes like get you. I was convinced it
Hmm.
was just you were going to fall out of the world.
Oh, right.
Um, and yeah, it wasn't until I kind of like later kind of like got into this area, I was like, there's no other exit. Maybe I do have to go down here. That I discovered what was going on. That, yeah, you could just go straight down. And so I'm really interested actually in creative mode now if I can like, does the visibility ever increase, or is it completely underwater down here?
No, it's always, yeah, it's all underwater.
Okay, so I see there's some spawners above the bird cage. I'm just on my screen now. I can see there's some spawners below the bird cage. It looks like there's an obsidian floor.
Hmm.
I see skeletons. Are there any other kinds of mobs in here?
That's pretty much it. No, just the skeletons were meant to be a nuisance because they're such a pain in the water.
And is there any loot down here, or is it just the bird cage?
Nope, just the bird
All
cage.
right.
So you've got, yeah, you got these guys. I don't think there's, oh yeah, there's some up in the corner too. So basically, any way you tried to swim down here, you're going to start triggering
Hmm.
the skeleton spawners.
I do love
And
the
then,
fact that when the skeletons uh, like fire their arrows leave little bubble trails.
oh yeah, the bubble trails. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And so and there were a couple other areas in the map where, I mean, I can't say I had too much trouble finding the birdcage per se, but it
Hmm.
definitely, like, there was a moment where I was like, where do I go next? And, finally I was like, do I really have to swim down through this water?
Yeah.
Um, and so you definitely got more, I'll say you got more creative in terms of birdcage placements.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my theory on people finding it would just be, "Oh my God, at the blazes, I'm jumping in the water," you know, and then
Hmm.
realizing that they could swim down a little ways, and then that and the name depth charge. I figured, okay, depth, it might.
That didn't occur to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, now that you say it, yeah, obviously. And yeah, this one also talks about like the belly of the beast and stomachs, and so it seemed like this was like a digestive tract, and you had like four
Yeah,
stomachs or something kind of thing.
yeah, like a bovine stomach or cow stomach.
Hmm. So
But
I like
yeah, I
that.
don't know if you noticed either. It's hard to see now, but each one of these rooms had a different kind of tree in it. So the first one started with oak, and then the black and white room was birch, and then this one I think was pine or jungle, and then the last one was pine
I
or
see.
jungle, whichever which
I
way
did
it
not notice
goes.
that, and yeah, I didn't take
Yeah.
much time to look at. Some people commented on the video that they really liked the pretty kind of wool interiors, the colors and the patterns that were on the walls.
Hmm.
Um, and yep,
Then I went and made you burn them all
that's
up.
right. Burn them all out. The black and white in here with the spiders was also just like appropriate colors for all the black spiders.
Yeah. I really like this is one of my favorite rooms right
Hmm.
here, the black and white
Yeah,
room.
I actually, despite the fact that I died and raged in here a bit, like I actually do enjoy this room as well, and especially like if I actually use the bow the way that it was intended for one hit killing the spiders, like
Hmm.
I think I would have enjoyed that room a whole lot more, and so I think that was pretty cool. And then I think I went through all four areas of the Nether before I even ever like looked to the left or to the right on the pathway, kind of just like out in the Nether proper, to like discover that there were other loot chests out here.
Oh yeah, in the hands.
Right, and yeah, people like pointed out to me like after the fact, like I didn't kind of notice the artwork that it's yep hands and fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I never noticed it in game. I was just like, ooh, a loot chest. And yeah, I really need to just fly around here and stand back. And so is this like, yeah, like some horn devil made of obsidian that's got
Yeah,
like
some kind of
hands
like
holding?
yeah, dark evil statue kind of thing.
And so you really were going in his mouth and then going into the belly of the beast.
Right, right.
So yeah, I guess it's because the obsidian is so dark and my screen brightness is always turned down, and so like I didn't, see this and
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. But here's another nice piece of 3-2 artwork.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, like about the nether fog and the draw distance, so you don't quite get to see it like you would in the normal world, but
Mm.
I can live with it.
And I guess we will head back out to the JVM and go to the end.
Sure.
All right. And there's still more to come next episode.